Hey Hollywood Echoes viewers, welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving into the hidden and unexpected sides of old Hollywood. Are you ready? Because the secrets we're about to uncover will change the way you look at this world forever. Let's get started. John Wayne. John Wayne, renowned for his roles in The Searchers and True Grit, was an iconic figure in American cinema. However, his legacy is marred by his openly racist views, particularly toward Native Americans and other minorities. In interviews and personal writings, Wayne expressed disdain for various ethnic groups and was known for making racially insensitive remarks. His views were consistent with the broader racial prejudices of his time, reflecting the attitudes prevalent in Hollywood during the mid-20th century. Despite his film legacy as a tough and heroic figure, Wayne's personal beliefs have led to a complex and controversial reputation. His career is often revisited in discussions about the intersection of art and personal ideology, with critics questioning whether his off-screen actions should overshadow his cinematic contributions. Wayne's views on race have become a central point of criticism, especially in a time when Hollywood is increasingly held accountable for the views and behaviors of its stars. His career highlights the tension between artistic achievement and personal ideology, urging audiences to reconsider how to view historical figures in light of their problematic actions. Clark Gable. Clark Gable, best known for his role in Gone with the Wind, is a celebrated figure in Hollywood history. However, behind the scenes, Gable was known for his prejudiced attitudes toward African American workers. He was reportedly dismissive and condescending toward African American crew members and actors on film sets. This behavior was particularly evident in the early years of his career, a time when racism was rampant in the industry. Though Gable's on-screen persona as a charming and strong leading man solidified his status in Hollywood, his off-screen behavior serves as a reminder of the racial inequalities that existed within the film industry during his time. Despite his star power, Gable's legacy is often scrutinized for his problematic views on race. Though Gable's personal behavior may have been largely overlooked during his time at the height of his fame, his history with racial prejudices is now an important aspect of how his legacy is understood. His attitude toward African American actors reveals the racial divides that were pervasive in early Hollywood, creating an uncomfortable juxtaposition between his public image and private attitudes. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn, a star known for his roles in action films, was another Hollywood icon whose personal life revealed deeply racist views. Flynn made several disparaging remarks about Native Americans and black people throughout his life, especially in his private conversations and writings. His behavior mirrored the systemic racism that was prevalent in Hollywood during the 1930s and 1940s. Despite his charming on-screen persona and popularity, Flynn's personal prejudices were a significant aspect of his character. These views were largely ignored during his lifetime, but they have since been revisited as part of a larger examination of the racism that shaped the entertainment industry. Flynn's legacy is now seen through a more critical lens, as his contributions to film are juxtaposed against his personal actions. The Hollywood of Flynn's era was a product of its time, but as cultural attitudes shift, the historical racism that influenced the industry is more readily acknowledged. Flynn's legacy, despite his undeniable contributions to film, serves as a stark reminder of how racial prejudice was deeply embedded in Hollywood's golden age. Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart, one of Hollywood's most famous actors, is celebrated for his roles in films like Casablanca. However, Bogart's earlier life was marred by his association with a racist group in his youth. In the 1920s, he was arrested for his involvement in a group that held discriminatory views, a fact that was later used to tarnish his reputation. While Bogart eventually distanced himself from his earlier associations, the stigma of his past actions lingered throughout his career. Though he became known for his strong stance against discrimination and his progressive beliefs later in life, particularly in supporting civil rights, his early actions serve as a reminder of the complex history of racism in Hollywood. Bogart's transformation from a man associated with bigotry to a public figure supporting social justice highlights the potential for growth, but it also exposes the deep-rooted challenges of overcoming the effects of past prejudices in an industry that often glorified discriminatory practices. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando, famous for his role in The Godfather, used his platform to challenge Hollywood's treatment of marginalized groups. In 1973, Brando famously rejected his Academy Award for Best Actor as a protest against the mistreatment of Native Americans in the film industry. This act of defiance highlighted his commitment to social justice and brought attention to the lack of representation and respect for Native American cultures in Hollywood. Brando's stance was controversial at the time, but it has since been celebrated as a bold and significant act in Hollywood's history of activism. Despite his iconic performances, Brando's willingness to confront racism in the industry remains one of his most important legacies. His stand against the industry's mistreatment of Native Americans forced the entertainment world to take a hard look at its practices and attitudes. While Brando's activism was often seen as disruptive, it reflected a progressive stance that went against the grain of the industry's norms, making him a unique figure whose legacy transcends his film career. Charlton Heston. Charlton Heston, known for roles in Ben-Hur and Planet of the Apes, was a figure who evolved politically over time. In the 1950s, Heston was an outspoken supporter of the civil rights movement and publicly denounced racism. However, in the years that followed, his views became more conservative, and he later supported causes that some considered to be racially insensitive. His involvement in the National Rifle Association and his vocal opposition to gun control further complicated his public image. Heston's career and personal beliefs serve as a reminder of the complexities of celebrity activism, with his advocacy for civil rights contrasted by later actions that some saw as racially divisive. Heston's transition from civil rights advocate to a conservative icon mirrors the shifting political landscape of his time. His career provides a complex case study of how celebrities navigate personal beliefs, public personas, and social issues, leaving behind a legacy that is both celebrated and contested. James Cagney. James Cagney, known for his roles in White Heat and other gangster films, was a legendary actor in American cinema. However, Cagney's personal life revealed a less flattering side, particularly his negative attitudes toward black artists. He was known for his dismissive behavior toward African American performers, and his actions on set reflected the racial prejudices of the time. While Cagney's on-screen performances were highly praised, his private views on race were a stark contrast to the roles he played. Cagney's complicated legacy highlights the racial inequalities that existed in Hollywood during the early years of his career, and his behavior remains a point of contention for many. Despite his status as one of Hollywood's most iconic actors, Cagney's racial prejudices are an uncomfortable part of his legacy. His actions off-screen challenge the idea of the American hero, forcing audiences to grapple with the contradictions between his public persona and private views. Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper, the star of High Noon, is remembered as one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men. However, Cooper's legacy is complicated by his openly racist views, particularly toward African American actors. Throughout his career, Cooper exhibited a lack of support for black talent in the industry and was known to hold prejudiced opinions. His behavior reflected the widespread racism that existed in Hollywood during the early and mid-20th century. Cooper's on-screen roles as a brave and moral hero were in stark contrast to his personal views, and his legacy is now viewed with a critical eye due to his discriminatory attitudes. Despite his stardom, Cooper's behavior off-screen raises difficult questions about the nature of celebrity and the responsibility that comes with it. His contributions to film are significant, but they are not without the stain of the racial prejudices that were common at the time. Bette Davis. Bette Davis, famous for her roles in All About Eve and Jezebel, is remembered as one of Hollywood's greatest actresses. However, her career was marred by her personal racist behavior. Davis, known for her strong-willed personality, was also known for holding racist attitudes, particularly toward African-American actors. In some of her personal letters and statements, she expressed disdain for racial integration in the film industry. While Davis's contributions to cinema are undeniable, her racist actions have led to a more nuanced understanding of her legacy, as critics examine the gap between her groundbreaking performances and her personal prejudices. Davis's racism, though often overlooked during her lifetime, has become a key focus in modern discussions about Hollywood's history and its treatment of marginalized groups. The complexity of Davis's legacy forces contemporary audiences to reconcile her remarkable acting career with her personal views that are now widely regarded as unacceptable. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford, known for her roles in Mildred Pierce and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, is another classic Hollywood star whose personal life is overshadowed by her racist behavior. Crawford, despite her success in film, was known for her discriminatory views toward African Americans and other minorities. Her behavior on film sets often reflected the racial prejudices of the time, and she was known for her condescending treatment of black actors and crew members. Crawford's actions, when viewed alongside her stellar film career, create a complex and troubling portrait of a star who contributed to Hollywood's legacy of racial inequality. Though Crawford's performances are celebrated and her impact on Hollywood undeniable, her personal prejudices remind us of the deep racial divisions that persisted within the industry. This duality in her legacy forces audiences to confront the tensions between a star's on-screen persona and their real-life beliefs, challenging the idealized image of Hollywood glamour. And that's a wrap. We've uncovered some amazing, lesser-known parts of old Hollywood together. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.